Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 here in Elm Creek. I'd like to try them out. And you've got another muck spreader right there. This one has 12 to 16 meter spreading width and takes up to 18 cubic meters. This one takes up to 35 cubic meters or 11 tons. I think that carries 11 tons? Not sure. Between 16 and 24 meter spreading width as well. So this is quite good muck spreaders, those are. You've then got the cattle, well, the animal trailer right there. That's a good one. We've got one of these hook lift trailers and a selection of implements to go with it. So we've got just a standard container bin. We've got a shallow container bin here that really... You'd kind of use that for like rubble and hardcore more than anything else, although you can use it for anything. And then we've got a mid-size container bin here, and then we've got two trailers here. These are more hardcore trailers again, rather than for grain and that. Like with the really low sides, you wouldn't typically use these for grain. You would typically use, because that's got a 15 cubic meter there, and that's an 11 cubic meter there. You would typically use these for hardcore, because there's obviously a lot heavier stone and stuff like that, rather than using it for grain. Because if we go up here, that's up to 51 cubic meters, and this is 32. So you have 51 cubic meters of space in this one. If you have the additional capacity there, 51,000 liters. That's a lot of capacity in that trailer. And then this one down here, this big trailer, has only got 15 cubic meters. So it's quite a big difference, just the shallow size. But anyway, this is the Roland pack, and generally I really like the Roland pack. I think it's a well-made pack. There's a lot of details in it, and I've used that one. I was going to say I've used a couple of the items, but I've just used that one. And now we've used these trailers. I'm just so disappointed that there aren't bale straps. Like, it's such a big thing for me, the bale straps, and I really, really am so disappointed that bale straps aren't in it. Like, that was just such a... I don't know. I was so disappointed when I found out there's no bale straps in it. It's like, well, there's always bale straps. Always. Like, what am I supposed to do now? I don't really know how to process this. Anyway, we haven't got anything else left to do apart from just planting canola. We're going to put canola in the field here. Field 49 is going to be the canola field. Field 48, I already can't remember what I said I was going to put in there, but field 49, where we had the sorghum, that's going to be the canola field. So we go into here. Obviously, we don't need to worry about that side. We want to go here. So, mulched. That field's now mulched. I need to get the mulcher, actually, and go in here. Field 46, we need to plough that one. Have I got a plough here, or is that... No, I haven't got one here, I don't think. I'm going to go and get one. Right. This field up here needs to be... Oh, yeah, we do. We've got... Well, it's not technically a plough. We've got that great big spader thing. So we'll have to get that one, and we'll bring that one up here onto this field. So we're gonna have to process this field up here. I need to go onto the oat field now and mulch that one. So we'll get this started in there, and then I can go and get the spader going in the other one. We might then just skip the night. Speed things along a little bit more. Let's just start you in there. Start doing that. I'm going to leave it to it now. I'm not going to bother with very much more in there. Let's start this one up and go and get that spader, and we can plough the field there. So what else do we need to do? This one here doesn't need lime like the whole lime needs. If we remove the mulch bit, there's no needs for it in here at all. So we're not going to need to lime them this year. We did the lime. We're going to want to cultivate next. Now, we're not going to use the spader. We're just going to use a standard cultivator, and then we're going to plant. So the standard cultivator Then you plant, and it'll then need rolling. It comes up then with the needs rolling. And so after the planting, as it comes up, once you've cultivated it, I think it'll go straight away with the needs rolling. I'm not actually sure about that. And then we deal with that little bit. Oh, no, we don't deal with that. We'll go and plant first. So we'll go and plant in the next crop. And then after that, we roll. And the rolling, because we've only used the cultivator, the rolling will roll down all of the stones and get rid of them. But what we're doing over here with this spader, which also counts as ploughing, this is deep cultivation. And so with this option on the fields, because this gets rid of the needs ploughing status, it's going to loosen up the soil for us quite nicely. We can't get rid of the stones that are picked up with this one using the roller. What we've got to do instead is, so we start that one up, lower that beast down there like that, and off we go. Look at those stones coming up. These stones, these are big stones. We can't do anything with those just here, so what we're going to have to do instead is we need to get the stone picker hooked onto the tractor after we've used the spader, and we need to pick the field clean of stones. And then once we've done that, then we can go and do the planting. Because the spader does, well, the spader and the stone picker, they do at least leave the field in a plantable state once you've gone over them. You don't need to run over them with a cultivator after that point. So we can just carry right on. These fields here, we're not going to be... What did I say that we were going to do? You know, I genuinely can't remember what I was going to put in there. I think I was going to put sorghum in this field up here out of the way. Oh, that's brilliant. This is how much space this machine needs to turn round. See? Half of the field width. If I was just to leave this one going, it would require half of the field width to turn round each time. We'd come back and find that hardly any of it had been done. So let's bring you back down there like that. And I'll just start you up and do a pass along here. Get to the middle. And once I've gotten to the middle right there, I will stop and we'll go back to the end and do a little bit more. Go on, you can do it. There we go. Right. So now I will reverse over here like this. I really like this spader, by the way. Like this is such a heavy-duty, hardcore machine. This is. That's some serious stuff going on there. Looked like there was a slight step down. There isn't a slight step down, but I mean that is serious, heavy-duty equipment going on there, isn't it? That is awesome. So I'm going to bring this one over now. I don't know how much space we've got for turning round, whether there's going to be enough space to turn round. I'm kind of hoping there is. And we will start the hired help working along this side right here. It's a bit of a slow job, so we'll just leave that one to carry on there and do that field. There he is, creeping up through. And we're going to just check on this one. We're going to have to do a little bit of a tidy up down the end of the field once it's finished. Other than that, that one is absolutely fine. So we can ignore that one and that one, and we want to go over to here. I want to get the cultivator now. So I'm going to find the cultivator with this tractor, and we're going to cultivate that field in there, the one that we want to plant with canola. Because the seed drill that we've got, that one there, we cannot... That doesn't direct plant. At least I don't think it does. Let's have a look. Yeah, power harrows. No, it's not a power harrow. Planter. No, not planters. Planters are basically row crop planters, for those of you who don't know. It's that one right there, and it doesn't say these machines use seed crops like wheat, barley, or canola. That one, wheel weights on the tractor are recommended for use. I guess because this is a slightly heavier machine. 3 meters wide, 3 meters That's 2.2 tons there. This one's only 1.4. So it's a much heavier machine. But it's got 1,600 litres of capacity rather than this just 600 on the one that we've got. Then you got that one right there. That's the same. That's an additional storage tank. This bit is, I think, goes with that one. To work together. This one, additionally, this seeder offers a possibility to seed directly. So that's the first one. That's basically $110,000. So you can seed direct with that one. It's quite a big machine, that is. It's a lot bigger than anything we need. This one is not a direct seeder. Despite the fact that it's got a little bit of a cultivator on the front of it, it's not enough of a cultivator. All that is doing is breaking up a few of the clods that might be left in the ground before we finish up. Before that, like, it actually puts the seed in. So it just kind of like breaks up the surface of the ground. If you you haven't immediately cultivated and then gone straight in with that one, it gives it a little bit of just final seed bed preparation before the seed is actually put in. So we're going to go over this way. And we're going to cultivate this one right here. So I'm going to do a pass down the side of the field here, because there's never enough room for the tractors to turn around properly. Now, there's two different types of cultivator that I do know about. This is a standard cultivator. That spader over there is deep cultivation, and that brings up heavy stones. This one right here is not deep cultivation, this is standard cultivation. So I'll put that one there like that, and then I can, you know what I'm actually tempted to do with this one, the same as we did with the mulcher, and do the field the other way. Might be easier for us. Let's put that going down there. And then we will run up through here. I'm going to do a pass here. And yeah, I think we'll go across the field. Rather than up, but I was going to go up and down from here, from this point. But I think I'll do it the same way that I did with the mulcher. I think it's just going to work out a little bit better for us. I will do one pass down here. Since I started playing this game in FS13, I have found that it is almost always better to do a pass right around the edge manually first before you set the hired help off doing it. If you've got really big fields, like if I've got really big fields, I don't generally worry about it, unless I've got like a smaller headland, or like there's something quite uneven on one of the headlands or something like that. Other than that, I don't generally worry about it. I will just then let the hired help carry on, and if there's a bit that it's particularly messed up by the end of it, I'll go back through and I'll sort of tidy that one up right at the end. But generally speaking, with small fields, once round the edge, will cure a lot of problems that you might otherwise get with the hired help. It's surprising how much of a difference this once around the edge can actually make to the overall performance of everything that happens. So I'm just going to bring that one back over there like that. Lower him in and then press H. Let her carry on right there. We've got Clara right in there. She is going to carry on and cultivate this entire field. So you've got those cultivators there, and there are actually, I think I've already been over this. You've got these different cultivators here. So that's a cultivator. Cultivator prepares the field for sowing. And that one there. This is a shallow cultivator. Shallow cultivators are used for shallow cultivation or seedbed creation of fields. Shallow cultivator doesn't bring up stones at all. It leaves an entirely different texture on the surface, though. In real life, when would you use the different types of cultivator? I do get asked this from time to time. As standard cultivator, you would use that most of the time. And to be honest, I think the amount of stones that are dragged up by it are slightly exaggerated, even in stony ground. But, I mean, maybe, yeah, maybe if the ground is stony. I've dealt with some stony ground. I guess it's kind of like it's kind of realistic, the amount that's bringing up. Not really sure. Anyway, doesn't really matter. You can roll them back in again, so that's fine. Standard cultivation, most occasions, most fields, this would be fine. Generally, the heavier the cultivator, the heavier the soil. So if you've got quite a heavy clay soil that is in, like, it tends to stick together in big clumps, you want a heavier cultivator. That's generally what you'd go for. We've got a number of different types here. If we just go for the unpowered ones first, you've got, like, this one here. It's actually classed as a shallow cultivator, which does surprise me. Oh, I see. All of the big ones, they've classed them as shallow cultivators. That's not technically how they would work. This one here doesn't strike me, that doesn't strike me as being, I mean, I guess it is a shallow cultivator. That would be shallow, I guess. And then you got these. These aren't shallow. I mean, that's not a shallow cultivator. That's for deeper cultivation. Let's go and have a look at this one right here. Yeah, see those big tines there? These are deeper cultivation. I mean, I guess that does actually fit, because like a really, really big, wide cultivator, you're not going to be wanting to put that deep into the soil and do a lot of work with it. This here, however, is really going to break up that surface. So you would be able to use that, like a deeper cultivator like that, something more robust on a heavier soil, or if you just want to get down a bit deeper and break up the soil itself more than just the top couple of inches. This one right here is probably breaking up the top 4 inches of the soil and really working that down. Those tines on there, these aren't, they would be vibrating a little bit as they go along, not a massive amount, because they're digging in quite a bit. So yes, I mean, it's breaking it up. It will be breaking it up, and it will be creating a seed bed, but it's creating quite a deep seed bed. And some plants do require quite a deep seed bed. Certainly things like vegetable crops and stuff like that. There are others as well. Things like the cereals, wheat and barley, you don't really need to give them a deep seed bed. Occasionally you would. It all depends on the soil. Like, if your soil type is really, really deep, if your soil type is a heavy soil type, so you've got something like a heavy clay soil, then you're going to want to work your soil down. You're going to have to do more work to it. It's going to take more to break it up and get it ready for a seed bed, because for a seed bed, it's got to be finely broken up. You can't have big chunks of soil all stuck together like you would get with a heavy clay. It's got, all of those clumps have got to be broken apart, and that's what the job of the cultivator is. You've got to break them all apart and help those plants to be able to establish themselves. With direct drilling, you're basically bypassing that, but what you've got to do, so you're not preparing the ground at all. You're relying on the plant's ability to just push down through the soil without giving it any helping hand. You can't direct drill with something like potatoes and a lot of root crops, because they need to have that looser soil to be able to push into. But a lot of cereals, you can direct drill them. You don't need to give any seedbed preparation whatsoever, and then you just roll them in afterwards. However, you do still need to keep a very close eye on the field and the soil itself, because it can start to get compacted after a few years. That there is issues of compaction that start to arise, in which case you will then need to go along and plough and subsoil and do some really deep cultivation on it. If you're sort of doing just trying to think about when you would be using the shallow cultivators, these big ones up here, shallow cultivators. These really quite big machines, big wide cultivators. There's a lot to unfold on that one. That goes all the way out to 14.3 meters wide. You would be using that for, say, with our seed drill that we're using over, we haven't actually got the seed drill hooked on at the moment. With our seed drill that we've got, you do need to have a seed bed prepared for it. The cereal crops don't need a really deep cultivation to be prepared for them. So what you can do is you can just use a shallow cultivator. It will only scratch the top couple of inches of the soil, just churn them up a little bit, and then you can go and use a seed drill that's not specifically designed for direct planting. They're more expensive, as a direct planting seed drill is more expensive than one that isn't a direct planting. So if we go in here to the seeders, like these here, they just drag along in soil. These are all... This one isn't. Let's have a look at this one a minute. So if you have a look here, you can see this one a little bit more clearly. Except that you can't actually see the coulters in this one. Yeah, you can, right in there. Okay, you can see right there the round disc here, and there's another round disc just on the other side, right there. They're at an angle. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that these discs are at an angle? You've got one there and one there. And then there's a little tiny bit right in the middle. There's a little tube. That's where the seed drops out. So those discs just cut along through the ground. They will not be able, this one isn't a direct drill, so it won't direct drill straight into just normal stubble. You have to prepare the field first. So if you're just going along through a nicely prepared seed bed, so the soil is loose and fluffy, no big lumps anywhere, this will just basically carve a little path through that soil, allow the seed to be dropped in, and then this little metal roller behind just presses lightly on the soil as it passes over behind where the seed has been dropped and covers it over again. It's a very, very simple process. It's a very, very simple setup. And most seed drills are exactly the same principle. Now, that's quite a cheap seed drill overall. It's cheap seed drill. The idea of it is cheap, and it's quite easy to go and make that. Now, if you compare that to this one, which is a direct drill, this one breaks up the soil beforehand and is a lot more robust, and then it's got the seed coulters right here by the look of it, and that's where the seed is placed, and then these rollers go along and they sort of stamp things down afterwards. So that's one way that it does it. What about this one? That one operates on pretty much the same standard. It's got the cultivation bit right in there. This one here, again, that's the same. Have we got the other... Here we go. This is option 2. This one here. Oh. Really? We've got the Amazon in here. Oh, it's an Amazon Citan. It's not the Amazon Condor. It's not a direct drill. I was hoping for the direct drill option. That's disappointing. There is another direct drill option. It's basically these ones here, they come equipped with the cultivator that would do the shallow cultivation is built into the seed drill. So you have that bit, and then you've got the coulters, very similar to the one that we looked at just here. The other ones, though, they don't have a cultivator bit. What they have is really, really heavy-duty coulters, and they dig into the soil just on their own, and they drop the seed in. But that, the fact that we've got so many direct seed drills here without their really heavy coulters, and instead we've got built-in cultivators, makes me think that maybe there's those heavy-duty ones, there's a reason that they've been moved away from. But it's been a long time since I've had anything to do with planting any crops, so I don't really know about that. That's about all I can tell you about that. So the shallow cultivation with the really big cultivators over here, the reason that you would go and use those is because you only need to just scratch up the top couple of inches of the soil, and then once you've done that, you have your seeder over here, and then that one can come along, and those will be able to, just that top couple of inches, that's enough to be able to scratch a groove with these and plant your seed in properly, so you don't need to worry about it. Now, I believe gameplay does actually allow you to go along and use these row crop planters as well in exactly the same way. I have never used a row crop planter. I have never been involved in harvesting from a row crop planter and any row crop material other than doing a bit of maize silage. So I don't know very much about these. So I don't know if... Because I do know that with the game... most of the seeders in the game so far, apart from this John Deere, this one allows the possibility to seed directly. Other than that one, planters in the game have never at any point allowed you to direct seed. You have to cultivate and prepare the soil first. And that's always made me think that the planters work slightly differently. They need a sort of a more prepared seed bed. So, I mean, I don't know about that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I can't really answer that. But there is one there that allows for direct seeding. That John Deere one that we just seen. But that's the first one I've ever seen in this game. So that's kind of like an overview of, well, a bit of an overview on different cultivators and when you would use them. So shallow cultivators if you're planting, say, cereal crops or something like that. If you're going to use a row, I think for like row crop planting, if you've got heavier soil, certainly trying to use a shallow cultivator in heavy soil before you're going to go and plant doesn't seem like a good idea. You want a heavier duty cultivator for that. You want to be able to cultivate down a little bit deeper, and that will help out the plants once you get them planted. The whole idea is that you want to get the best possible seed bed for the plants. So you kind of let the plants and the soil conditions dictate which cultivator would be used and when. There's no hard and fast rules about what you would do and when. This is just kind of, you have to play it all by ear. Like, you go over the field with a cultivator, and then when you're finished, you have a look at it, and you're like, this seed bed doesn't seem right. Like, this doesn't seem like we've prepared this enough. It's not deep enough. There's too many large clumps of earth. We're going to have to go over this again. We're going to have to get a different, maybe a heavier duty, a more heavy duty cultivator or something like that in order to be able to do the cultivation properly. You just have to play it by ear. Now, most people don't have the option of going and buying another cultivator, so if you find out after you've gone and done all your work that actually the field is not prepared adequately for planting your crop, what you would do is you would go over it a second time with the same cultivator. So this one here, there is another thing, actually. You got disc harrows here. These generally are shallow cultivation. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.